Today's webinar. We're happy that you are able to join us for engaging techs and parents at car seat checkup events. This again is sponsored by State Farm and Safe Kids. So today, objectives. By the end of the session, you will be able to discuss tips to keep all technicians and their volunteers informed of everything so that they're engaged in the car seat checkup experience. We'll also be discussing ways to prevent caregiver participants from feeling overwhelmed or discouraged during a car seat check. And we'll also, of course, be sharing some resources for technicians to use for events. And we could have so much fun as we're seeing in the photo here. So today I'd like you to meet our presenter. Jennifer is with the Helen DeVoist Hospital and in Grand Rapids, Michigan. She's a mother of 4 active children, but still has time for checkup events. Her greatest joy comes from teaching people and helping them become more confident in keeping their children safe. Jennifer was awarded the National Child Passenger Safety Technician Instructor, in the year 2014, and actually became an instructor in 2008. So she's got some years of experience and, of course, a lot of checkup events under her belt. So we are looking forward for Jennifer to share more about her experiences. So Jennifer, take it away.
Thank you very much. I'm really excited to be here today. I'm excited for those of you that are on the call and for anybody who's watching this as it has been archived. I hope that by the end of today you'll have a re-energized idea about how to go about running your events or even participating in events that other people are running. I think that as we all are technicians and going out to do what we love, to be able to help people learn how to keep kids safe, it's important to really have a positive experience to build from. And as an instructor and as a technician in my community, it's important to me that I can find ways to have a welcoming environment for any technicians that want to be part of our events. We have a wonderful core group of volunteers in our community, but we're always looking to get new people. If you're also in that same boat, like how do I find new technicians? Start out with an email. Find in your zip code, search under Safe Kids, see who's in your area, and send out an email. But then be ready for them. Have that welcoming environment. Get the good lighting, get good signage. Make sure that your area is safe and prepared for people to come in. Also, make sure you have everything you need to run an event well. Make sure you have all of the checklist forms, the latch manual, the recall list, any other supplies that you know that you need to run an event. It's really helpful when new technicians and seasoned technicians alike come to an event and know that the person running the event is prepared just by looking at the table or the area where things are kept. Have in your mind, before you get to your event, how are you going to run it? Are you going to have teams? Are you going to have people working alone? But really think through how you want that event to run. I find as somebody who sets up many events, if I pre-plan in my head what it's going to turn out like, it usually works about the way I think it is. Of course, we all have snafus and things that happen, but the more I can prepare ahead of time, the more engaged my technicians feel when they get there, and the more relaxed they can be to do the job they came for instead of maybe mixing up and fixing up and figuring out what I didn't do well before they got here. I think, too, having defined roles at an event really do help technicians feel better. So when people come or when people let you know they're going to come, let them know, hey, you're going to be working in teams, or you're going to be working alone today because we're really short-staffed, or hey, we're going to be in a wide-open parking lot. It's going to be a little distance between, or we're really tight tomorrow. But giving people an idea of what to expect and really laying that out does help people to be prepared and more engaged when they get to an event. Next slide, please. One of the most important things I find for keeping my technicians engaged and really making sure people are prepared for the event that they're coming to is to send a text or an email prior to that event. And in that event, I'm going to lay out for people what I'm expecting as the leader of the event. I'm going to make sure they know where to come. Make sure I spell out the address or any directions that might be a little bit unfamiliar to someone. and also lay out requirements for sign-offs. So often I get somebody who will shoot me an email and say, hey, can I come to your event? I'd love to have you. I love new faces. Sure, come on over. And then they throw in that little line, oh, by the way, I need some sign-offs. That is a wonderful trigger for me to get them what I expect as an instructor. You will see in the end of the presentation, I'm going to be able to share with you what I send out to my technicians. I have a little letter that I've crafted to send to anybody who wants sign-offs. This is really just a reminder of what I'm looking for as the instructor in order to give that sign-off. I don't mean it to be a pressure that they have to be perfect. I don't mean it to be overwhelming, but I really want to set technicians up for success. And I do think that as a tech, when you go to an event, if you know what the instructor or the person running the event is expecting, it really does help you feel more at ease and more prepared to do the job that you're coming for. The other thing that I do with that text or email is kind of ask for a response and get people's technician numbers prior to the event. This way, I know that I can double check, make sure they're still a certified technician. I can have a list already printed, so in case they can't remember their technician number, they've already been able to find it once, and now they don't have to look it up every time. It saves some time so that they don't have to look that up on the site as we're going through our event. But it really kind of lays everything out in orderly fashion with expectations, requirements, and then just kind of the stuff we need, our tech number and what sign-offs we're receiving. Another thing that we'll be sending out at the end of the webinar is a sample list and how I make that. So I'll put a technician name with their number, their recertification date, and then I'll leave a blank at the end for instructors to sign off what sign-off they provided at that event. And then I'll have the technicians either take a picture of that before they leave the event, or I will scan and email it to the technician as they receive their sign-offs. So it's easier for them to enter in the website once they get back to their work or their home or whatever they're doing for that evening. Next. I really think that preparing for the event as a leader of the event is so important before the event actually happens. Don't expect the technicians coming to your event to do the work for you. I think it really can be a little bit overwhelming for technicians to walk up to an event and not see anything, not see stuff there, and be told, oh, get it out of this closet, or get out of that closet, or pull it out of this truck. So I think finding that organization ahead of time and having people know how to get a hold of you as the leader. So make sure they have your information. Do they have your cell phone? Do they have your email? What's the best way for them to get a hold of you? This way, if there's any traffic issues or if something came up with work or they're going to be late, I know that they're still safe and they know that I know they're not coming. It just sets yourself up for a better experience as a technician during an event. I also expect my technicians to wear name tags. I know there are some people that have a little bit of, an anxiety when it comes to a name tag, but I think it really does connect the group well, especially when you have people who maybe didn't know each other before the event started. It gives everybody that little bit of freedom to maybe let their mind down for just a minute. I don't have to memorize all these names and teach about car seats and engage parents, but I can look at somebody's shoulder and see their name tag again and remember their name, or maybe I can remind myself by just a quick look at the first letter. Oh, yeah, it was Kathy. That's right. But having name tags there really can kind of tie you in as a team, and it really begins to unify us as technicians at an event. And that's a great thing, because when we're unified and we're communicating on a first name basis, it actually helps parents to feel more at ease as well. So not only is it keeping technicians engaged by remembering everybody else's name that was there, but it also allows parents to kind of see the interactions on a personal level. And that's really my goal, is that parents aren't feeling intimidated or overwhelmed. On this photo in the slide is just a quick picture of the file boxes that I use. It's definitely not the only way to organize things, but by having my event supplies stocked before the event starts, I'm not running around scrambling looking for things. So these are pictures that I take every time after an event, and there will be a red sticky note flag sticking out of the tab that's empty, so that I prepare and take it along for the next time, so that my red sticky tabs are gone, because I've just filled all of those file folders. It's a good way to just be prepared before the event. Next, please. At the event, one of my greatest accomplishments, I feel like, has been really getting a pre-event meeting going on. So I ask my technicians to come 30 to 15 minutes before the event if they're able, and we do a pre-event meeting where it's very important that introductions are made. I don't really want anybody to feel left out. So we take a few minutes, we talk about where everyone's from, how long they've been a technician, what their name is, making sure that we take time to introduce each other, which really helps technicians get engaged with people that are there. We also spell out roles and responsibilities. In many of our events, we have colored shirts that indicate different roles or responsibilities. I actually put one picture in here from an event that we ran with CS Mott Children's Hospital. You can see there's blue shirts on one side and red on the other. That day, it happened to be that the Helen DeVos people wore blue and the CS Mott people wore red. So we chose regular technicians and senior checkers based on color. But that was very helpful for any of our volunteers that came in that day. And setting up those roles and responsibilities is a key factor in comfort level for technicians. One thing that's always important to me that I think helps people to feel really at ease at an event is to identify the person or persons who you can go to when you have a problem. If you are the leader of the event, maybe that's your role, is that you aren't actually going to get into a car and do education with a family, but yet you're there as the support and as the problem solver and as the person to go to when there's concerns. I think that it's really, really powerful to have that person so that everyone knows who to go to if there's an issue. I also think at this pre-event meeting, setting up your program guidelines to get people directed towards what it is that's going to happen at this event. It may be very different from the event they went to last weekend or last month or even last year. So really talking about how do people qualify for your program? Do you have seats to give away? Do you have seats to sell? Do you have seats at all? And I want people to realize you don't have to feel badly if you don't have car seats just to run an event. As technicians, our goal is always to help empower families with education. That doesn't mean we always have to provide car seats, but spelling that out before the event starts so that every technician there knows kind of how things work at that event or what the goal of that event is. Also explain the setup, where the stuff is, where is the scale, where is the tape measure, where is the latch manual. We don't want to assume that technicians will be able to find it, so it's important during that meeting to set it up. And then also explain the traffic flow, where we're moving people, how we're letting people know there's a car moving. And then if you're working in teams, I love to pair new technicians with seasoned technicians or confident technicians with a little bit less confident technicians so that everyone has a chance to really work together and to have a positive experience. Next. During the event and after the event, it's the culmination of making people feel engaged in the education and the empowerment that they're providing. But I feel like having that printed tech list number with sign-offs is a really great opportunity for technicians to not have to keep track of stuff themselves. It can be right there for them. I also think check-in moments are really powerful moments. So as the leader of an event or as a technician who's been kind of given that role of, hey, can you be my check-in moment person? Finding time to step and say hi to every technician during the event and say, how's it going? Are you having any concerns? Do you need anything? Anything surprise you today? Or thanks for being here. Just really check in with everybody during the event. It's a pretty powerful way to keep people really centered on the event. Of course, snacks always helps. Having little healthy snacks or even yummy sweet snacks can really help people to feel loved and engaged at the event. And then the final piece is the follow-up email. I think so often in an event we're so busy educating and we don't even realize often what's going on around us. To send out that follow-up email with, hey you guys, we had an incredible event today. Thanks to volunteers like you, we were able to help 17 children leave safer than when they arrived. We helped educate 22 expectant moms on proper ways to harness their child. However you can communicate to technicians that they are appreciated and valued really does engage them for the next time that they want to be part of your event. Next. Sometimes it's scary to go to an event where you don't know anybody, or maybe it's scary to let someone come that you don't know. I would encourage all of you as technicians to find an opportunity to go to an event maybe that you don't feel like you're comfortable at. New faces always provide a new perspective. They have fresh ideas to share. And if you're anything like me, if somebody that I don't know is planning to come, I want to show them that I do a pretty good job, that I have a really good event going on here. So it's going to keep me at the top of my game, which ultimately is going to give my families a better opportunity and a better experience as well. So allowing yourself to stretch yourself, to let new people in, or to go to an event where maybe you're kind of the outsider, it's really an opportunity to grow as a technician, but also to continue to share ideas with other people. Next. I think all of us have been there, probably in our pre-technician days, but as a parent or a caregiver, we can very easily be overwhelmed with child passenger safety. And as a technician running an event, I encourage you to really communicate well. Communicate at the level of your learner. Communicate in the primary language, if at all possible. If you're working with a hospital system, maybe you have an interpretation service that you could get someone to come. If you're working independently, maybe you have a friend who's in your community that speaks a language that you're trying to target families from that language. See if they'll come out and hang out with you to support that. We know that it's not always possible, but it's really kind of a powerful thing when you can get native language. Excuse me. I also find that giving parents kind of an idea of what's about to happen is really something that can prevent them from feeling overwhelmed. And that is part of why, we have a little parent letter. So when parents pull up to our event, we put a parent letter on the clipboard with their checklist that allows them to see kind of what's happening. We let them know that this is about a 30-minute process per car seat in their car. We appreciate their patience. We allow them to kind of ask questions at the bottom of that paper or share stories. So if they've ever experienced a car crash or know anybody who has, and they want to share a story that maybe we could use for fundraising, or maybe we could use just for powerful media moments. We ask for that on that parent letter, but it gives parents an opportunity to tell their story even before they pull in. I also think it's really cool if you can have a greeter. Having somebody who's designated as the happy person is kind of a fun thing. When you can get somebody out to the car right away so that they know they're loved and respected and that they're really valuable, and be able to say, hey, I'm so glad you came today. Really looking forward to helping you learn all kinds of things about child passenger safety. And if you have that designated person, it can be a really good point of taking away an overwhelming feeling for parents. Next. We all know that parents can feel overwhelmed very quickly just because of their own children. So if you can find some volunteers, we have had wonderful success with our local colleges. We have lots of medical colleges right in our community. And we also have lots of universities that have great programs where people are needing volunteer hours. So we've tapped into child life students, early education students, pre-med students, and we bring them to our events to keep the kids busy. We also find chalk when it's on sale or bubbles at the end of the summer. We buy them on sale, print some coloring pages. Here you can see we've got some wonderful fire departments that allow us to draw with chalk right on their fire department floor. This keeps kids really engaged and, again, allows parents or caregivers to focus on the education they're receiving rather than feeling overwhelmed by their own children. Next. When you are a parent or a caregiver and you are learning something that you really maybe thought you should have already known, it's very easy to get defensive. It's very easy to try to come back with, I meant to do it that way. And it also, as a technician, it's easy to kind of be like, yeah, that's not cool. But I encourage you, as a technician, to look for those positive moments. Encourage parents. Build their confidence. I have here on this slide to really remember only one voice should be talking at a time. I feel that that's important as a technician, as listening to the parent or caregiver and what their concerns are, but also if you're working in teams, that more than one technician is not offering education at the same time. That can be a really overwhelming feeling if you've got two technicians talking at the same time really fast about something that they expected this mom to know. You can see the shutdown happen really quickly. So at our event, we have a rule that only one voice talks at a time. And if there's a need for a correction or an addition, we use a simple tap on the elbow as an indicator that, hey, either I missed something or I forgot something. So that triggers a step away for a moment. And then we just talk to each other as technicians. And maybe my partner would say, Jennifer, I think you just said that the straps were supposed to go above the shoulders, but isn't this kid going rear facing? Oh my goodness, I totally misspoke. So then I can go back to mom, I can correct what I said, and I can do that in a way like, wow, this is such hard stuff. You're not alone, man. This is really difficult. And giving any opportunity for parents to feel that you understand where they're coming from. Part of that is sharing national and local statistics. They're not alone. You know, our local stats tell me that 95% of people are doing something wrong. And if I share that with a parent, they are not alone, and it helps them to feel way less overwhelmed. I really do encourage you to find moments of positive. Come with energy and encouragement and build the confidence of the parents who come to your events, because this is what's going to help them to take away from the event a positive outcome and prevent their kids. On the next slide, Carrie, if you can go to the next slide for me, perfect. These are some resources that Kim's going to send out to you guys. Sample things that we send over here in Grand Rapids, a sample of the technician sign-in, a sample of that parent letter that we put on the clipboard as parents are waiting in line, and then an email that I send to technicians who let me know that they want to have sign-offs. These are obviously just samples. Please feel free to use them, change them, move them around, or make them work for you. But I think overall, you know, when we are working as technicians, we all go out there with the same goal. We go out there to save kids' lives. And if you can find ways to do it with a positive attitude, with engaging people who are around you, with building each other up as a team and as parents and caregivers, it sets everyone up for success and truly does make a difference.
Very good. Thank you, Jennifer. Carrie, do we have some questions for Jennifer?
People are very interested in the parent letter and resources.
Awesome.
And we don't really have any questions, so I want to say I really liked the tap on the elbow as a quiet, easy way to say, I need a minute, or something like that. A lot of great tips. So please use your question box, send in your questions or your comments. Jennifer I just love that picture, I have to say, at the end. You could tell that you're having a great time, and who doesn't love a little kid with a fountain ponytail?
I know, right.
Yeah.
You know, I think, Carrie, too, one of the things at our pre-meeting when we talk about that elbow tap, it really is, it's powerful to watch technicians who've never been at our events before kind of go, wait, you're going to touch me on the elbow? But then once it's the moment in you're educating and you get that little tap, it really brings you back. And it's a powerful, very subtle way of just kind of keeping each other in line, but also not kind of knocking down what you've said in front of a parent. So we find that it works great.
Mm-hmm. And we're getting more people saying they're loving all the tips, they're interested in all the resources that you're providing. And can we just confirm those are going to be in the follow-up email, Kim?
Yes, they absolutely are.
Yes, they are.
By Dropbox and also Google Drive.
Yep. So Dropbox, Google Drive. You can also download right now the handout by clicking on the tab on your screen. And if there's no more questions, I guess I'll. Shannon wants to know if anything else has worked. For subtle ways to get tips away besides a tap on the arm. I mean, I think probably a tap on the nose wouldn't be too subtle, but perhaps you've got some other ideas.
Yeah, we've always used the elbow, but I think that I actually was at an event on the other side of the state one time when it was you were supposed to take the clipboard from the technician. So as the technician, you're writing and some other tech grabs the clipboard. I didn't feel like that was quite as subtle, but it worked for this group of friends that I was helping out at an event. So that, I'm sure there's lots of ways that could work for you.
Okay, well, I guess that's it. No, we don't have any more questions. So any closing thoughts? And I will turn it back over to you, Jennifer and Kim.
Very good. Jennifer, this has been wonderfully prepared, and I love your enthusiasm. I think it's absolutely contagious. I've been excited and smiling just in watching the slides go by. One of the things that sometimes is discussed during the pre-event meeting is an opportunity just to remind people again, especially techs that may be fairly new, that we really have to be considerate of how people raise their children. Might be a little different in not making judgments. And of course, we've got the code of conduct.
Sure.
Could you speak to that?
Absolutely. And I was going to mention it, and then of course it slipped my mind as we were going, but that code of conduct is something that is a really great resource on the CPS board site there. So you can, will you send that out too, Kim? You'll send that out again for people?
Yes, and that's going to be in the follow-up email as well in that folder.
Okay, perfect.
We'll have that.
I think that what's so nice about that code of conduct, for people to read ahead of times, it really does remind you that you have this commitment to doing things well, not only for the families you serve and the community you serve, but even just to the certification that you have as a leader in our community and as a colleague. I think as we work through events, as you're listening to people, hear what they're actually saying. Don't assume that you know what they're asking. Make sure that you are very respectful, like Kim alluded to, is how people raise their children. Sometimes the choices that parents make may not align with your own personal choices, but respectfully listening to what people have to say and giving the best education, regardless of the family's ethnicity or color, origin, gender, whatever it might be, but really giving them the best practice education and remembering that we are here to provide the best education. It's ultimately up to the parents and caregivers what they choose to do with that education. And if we are confident leaders, and if we are presenting information in a powerful, convincing way, I believe that people will take what we have to heart and will make the right choices with their children.